What is up, guys? So we are going to do a brief little tutorial about arbitrage betting. So arbitrage betting is a strategy I love. It's actually the strategy I used when I started sports betting. I made my first $40,000 with arbitrage betting. So I have a little PowerPoint I made that we can kind of go through. But essentially, arbitrage betting is a way to make risk-free returns sports betting. And I know it sounds crazy. It sounds a little too good to be true, but I'm going to explain to you why it's possible, why it's not too good to be true, and how you can implement this strategy to make some good profit sports betting. So the first thing, reason that arbitrage betting is possible is the sports betting market is very inefficient and there's so many sports books, right? So you can see here, like on OddsJam, there's over 200 sports books on this platform. Not all of the books are going to be legal in your location, but you can see here as a simple example, let's go back here, is it looks like, damn, DraftKings moved. So you got to move quickly. That's one of the things you're going to learn about arbitrage betting. But you can see all these books have different lines from one another. They all have different odds on the exact same bet. And that's really interesting, right? Because if you think about the price of like Facebook, it's $285.50. If you go to Robinhood, you're going to see it's $285.50 or something close to that, right? There's not these major discrepancies. $285 approximately. And then if you go to Fidelity, you're going to see it's the same thing, right? Whatever. But you get the point. The stock market is very inefficient. You don't have these massive differences in prices from Fidelity to Robinhood. Whereas in sports betting, all these books set odds. They all set lines independently. And sometimes their models get super out of sync with one another. So all sports books set lines independently. That's the main reason why arbitrage is possible. And then also, all of these sports books have tens of thousands of lines, right? So this is just one sports book, Underdog Fantasy. And you can see they have thousands and thousands of different things you can bet on. So all these sports books have tons of different lines. They're trying to manage tons of lines, and they can't always keep their lines in check. So we're going to explain the pros, the cons about arbitrage betting. This is a trading strategy, and it occurs when markets are super inefficient, when they're super fragmented, and it's also the case in sports betting. So we're going to go through this example. We're going to act like this is possible if DraftKings were the case, and I'll take you through the math. But there are some pros, there are some cons of arbitrage betting. The first con is, as you saw right here, you have to move quickly, right? These arbitrage bets, these really good lines, they're not going to stay available forever. So let's go back here. Why do I keep doing that? These arbitrage bets, these trades, they're not going to be available forever. So you really want to know how to navigate these sports books quickly to get these arbitrage bets in, right? How to navigate FanDuel. You're also going to need to have multiple sports books, right? To place this arbitrage bet, it's between DraftKings Sportsbook and Caesars Sportsbook. You need both sports books. If you don't have multiple sports books, you can't arbitrage bet. You're going to be betting essentially on equal and opposite outcomes in order to guarantee yourself a risk-free profit. And this isn't easy always, especially as you're getting started. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but I'll break down the math for you. You're literally exploiting inefficiencies in the market when books are so mispriced. Like you can see, DraftKings ripped this line from plus 270. They ripped it all the way down to plus 210. So these really good arbitrage bets, they don't last forever, but there's tens of thousands of people who are arbitrage betting, making risk-free returns off the sports books. So the first thing you want to do, and again, I included a promo code. You can try this out for 2 weeks for free. Any questions you have, you can email me. Is the first thing you want to do is obviously put in the sports books you use. I'll do this example first because DraftKings and Caesars are, two of the biggest sports books out there, biggest sports books in the United States and Canada. So we can go through this example, right? So DraftKings had, Varilla set plus 270, and you can see like they ripped it all the way down to plus 210. But let's say on Caesars, we have $1,000, right? Let's just go through this example with this number. You can play with the numbers. What this calculator tells you, it's called an arbitrage calculator, is how much to bet on DraftKings, 374.22. So for the sake of example, let's just round to 375. So bet $1,000 on DraftKings, Caesars, 375 on DraftKings, and let's go through what happens, right? How does this arbitrage trade work? If you move quickly, if you can get this bet down, if you have multiple sports books, how does this turn into money for you? So if this first guy wins, the favored guy, Kekmanovic, and again, these arbitrage bets can occur in any market, NFL, whatever. They can also occur on any sports book, FanDuel, DraftKings. The more books you have, the more successful of an arbitrage bettor you're going to be. This one's between DraftKings and Caesars. Sometimes there's really good arbitrage bets between DraftKings and FanDuel, whatever. So you're going to see here, if Kekmanovic wins, right, on DraftKings, we're down $375. We bet $375 on DraftKings on him, plus 270 odds, okay? But on Caesars, we're up 1,000 times 100 over 260, right? We bet $1,000 at minus 260 odds. So our profit, I mean, you have to understand how odds work, but this is, right, if you bet $1,000 at minus 260 odds, minus 260 means you have to bet 260 to win back 100, right? That's this guy's the favored tennis player. You're going to see we're up 384.62. So on Caesars, we're up pretty big money. On DraftKings, we're down 375, but it works out to be a net profit of 962. But what happens if Virilus wins? If Virilus wins, we're down $1,000 on Caesars, but on DraftKings, we're up 375 times 2.7. We're up $1,012.50. So our net profit is $1,250, right? So in both cases, you make risk-free money. It's kind of like buying a stock for $10 from your friend and then selling it to another friend immediately for $11. You make a risk-free profit of $11. You're not taking an opinion on whether that stock is going to go up or down. You're just making that risk-free profit due to this discrepancy in pricing, right? And again, this isn't possible in the stock market. It's way too efficient, right? The sports betting market, it's possible because there's hundreds of sports books in the US, Canada, all around the world, and they all set lines independently, right? They all have different odds, different lines from one another, which is why this is possible, right? Out of these tens of thousands of lines on Underdog Fantasy, right? Every sports book out of these tens of thousands of lines, typically only like 0.1% are arbitrage trades where you can make a risk-free profit. So the cons of arbitrage, let's go through that, right? That's how the math works. In either way, you make a risk-free profit. Now, if you follow this calculator exactly, then if we were to bet exactly 374.22, I just rounded it to 375, then you can see here, your risk-free profit would be 1040, regardless of who wins. So if you follow the calculator exactly, so, we want to bet $1,000 on Caesars, this arbitrage calculator will tell you how much to bet on the other side. You're going to be, 1040. That's going to be your risk-free profit, and it doesn't matter who wins. But again, kind of round your numbers. It just makes sense. It doesn't really matter, right? Who cares if we're making 962 or 1250? We're making money no matter what, versus making 1040 every single time. So I wouldn't follow the calculator exactly. So the downsides of arbitrage are, one, you got to move quick. Two, you need multiple sports books. And three, a lot of people are like, this can't be possible. I would bet, $100,000 on Caesars. It's not like these sports books, the markets aren't liquid enough, efficient enough, liquid enough. Most of these sports books don't allow bet sizes that big, right? Like if you look at Underdog Fantasy, a lot of people ask me like, oh, why are you always placing your bets for $100, 100 to win 600? Is on this platform, you'll notice, right, that it says right here, max bet size $100. That's just what they let you bet. So if Caesars only gives you $100, they'll probably give you more. Caesars has a lot better betting limits. You're only making a risk-free profit of $1. But you got to remember, so this is a game for hustlers. This is a game for people who can move quickly, have multiple sports books, and it's a slow profit grind. I used to get home from work every day and just hit a bunch of arbitrage bets, make $3 here, $5 here. It's risk-free. You're working from home, and these arbitrage bets take like 2 seconds to place, right? It's not like you're making $1 million in a night, but you're making, let's say you hit this on Caesars for $500. You're up $5. Then you move on to the next arbitrage bet. So I used to get home from work, just hit like 10 arbitrage bets, be $50 richer, go to bed. And another great thing about arbitrage is you got to remember most of these arbitrage bets, like this is a risk-free return of 1.3% between these two sports books. So let's say, you bet $500 on Resorts World. This is a sports book in New York, so I don't have access to it. If I was in New York right now, I would literally place this bet live and show you. So you can see you can make a risk-free profit of 945, a risk-free profit of 1.3%. Is what's really cool about this is these returns are daily, right? Like usually, I mean, most of the games for today have already started. Like you can see MLB has already started, but usually you're betting on games that are that day, your arbitrage bets. So if you're making 1% risk-free in a day, that's 30% over the course of a month, right? So your bankroll will compound, grow pretty quickly. And again, you're not going to be able to slam these bets for like $25,000, right? But if you hit this for, if they give you $400 or $500, hit the other side for 945, that takes you 2 minutes to place, a minute if you know what you're doing, or 20 seconds if you know what you're doing to be realistic, and you're 945 richer, risk-free profits due to these massive discrepancies in sportsbook odds. So this is a strategy I used. And you can see there's some really good arbitrage bets. A lot are on this Resorts World sportsbook, which is a sportsbook in New York. But you can see there's some like this you could place in Canada between Pinnacle, right, and Caesars. And, again, most of the games for today have already started, so there's not a bunch of arbitrage bets, but sometimes there's some amazing ones. So get more sports books, learn how to move quick. And again, this is an easy way. You can look online. A lot of people talk about arbitrage betting. You make thousands of dollars, but it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't some, $10 to win $1 million overnight. This is actual trading, how to grind out profits. Literally, this one's crazy. It would literally take me 2 minutes to place, go to Fliff, find the bet, right? They have a search button, so you just learn how to navigate the sports books. If I was in New York, when I'm in New York, I'll hit this bet, make a risk-free profit of $58. Sometimes the arbitrage bets are better, right? You never know when the best arbitrage bets are going to occur. It's just like as a trader, you never know when there's going to be crazy things happening in markets. Nobody knows if the stock market's going to go up or down on Monday. Nobody knows, right? If they could predict the future, they'd be a billionaire, right? So long story short, that's kind of how arbitrage betting works. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. I'll put my email in the chat if you have any questions, and you can feel free to reach out to me. Thanks so much.